All right, guys. We are now joined by a very special guest. Fantastic hair, apparently at least one fantastic leg. Drew
Yes.
Butler, former punter for the Peachtree Ridge. What were they?
The Lions. Yeah.
That's as far as I'm
Throwback.
going to go. I'm not going to give
Yeah,
you any other credentials there.
absolutely. Cameron Hayward was a classmate of mine. We grew up together, and he's the team captain for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we were at Peachtree Ridge together. Shout out to the 2006 Peachtree Ridge football team, co-state champions. And
Co-state
Cameron,
champions.
yeah, we won't get into that.
No, we got to get into that for a second. How was it co-state champions? What were
Well,
they
we
doing
tied
there?
Roswell 14-14. We have rings, we have trophies. We're state champions. And then I think in 2A, Buford tied that year as well. So they changed the rules. We definitely would have won in overtime, but we're state champions. Shout out Peachtree Ridge Lions. All my guys listening in right now.
All right. Shout out, I guess what is basically the UCF of Georgia high school. I'm kidding. I'm giving you a hard time. No, that's good stuff. Also, an All-American at Georgia and then played in the NFL. Okay, so first question, man, just shooting you straight. I know you come from a great pedigree and your dad's famous and all that good stuff. But do you ever get upset at why God didn't have you born in Australia so you would have been like an actually super successful punter?
It's crazy, man. When I was in college, the first few Australian punters were breaking into college football.
Right.
Brad Wing,
Yeah.
kicked against him in the 2011 SEC championship game, a few others here and there.
Right.
And that whole pro kit crowd down there, which were training like 35-year-old grown men who were going back to university, started to figure out, hey, we have some opportunity in America. And those guys are so talented because Australians grow up literally throwing the ball. This is going to sound weird, throwing the ball with their foot, meaning they don't pass the
works.
football. They kick the football to each other,
right,
like we would play catch. So they're really talented at hand-eye coordination. They can manipulate the ball and have extreme control over it. And then I guess someday somebody woke up down in Australia and said, hey, we should give a shot at this American punting. And Darren Bennett and a couple of other guys in the NFL had broken through. And now it's like, they're just churning them in and out. I think Georgia has one committed and he's like 30 plus years old and they call him the milkman because he works on a dairy farm. And now he's coming to Athens.
Man.
I think this guy's going to think Athens, Georgia is the greatest place in the history of the world. We all do think that, but coming as a dairy farmer in Australia, watch out. This guy's going to be on fire when he gets into Athens.
Who's not going to think that's the greatest place in the world for him is like every single 19-year-old co-ed that he's also going to be in classes with. I will say that, it's crazy because like it seems like every punter you see, like whether it's like big time, Power 5 or if it's like the MAC or whatever, they're all from Australia. It's like shortstops in the Dominican in baseball.
Yeah, very true.
Also, if they're throwing with their foot, have we considered that that's what Bo Nix should be doing this whole time?
Yeah, maybe, if we have any Australian punting coaches in the southeastern region, namely, East Alabama, West Georgia, give Bo a shout, see if it works. Might catch some people off guard.
Love it. All right. So you and I, I'm assuming are frenemies on Twitter and you don't actually hate me.
That's 100% fact.
Okay, good. Because you definitely gave me a shout out. I wouldn't say a shout out, but you were asking where I was on Saturday night as an Alabama fan watching that
crazy game
debacle. But I've been saying all season, and I feel like sometimes people think I like emotionally hedge on this because I was born and raised in the state. I can tell you right now, I'm not emotionally ready for Georgia to win a national championship because of what the fans will do to the state. We're trending in that direction. We are just barreling down the tracks right at that end goal. Right now, like being 100% honest, what is your confidence level if they're going to win the national championship?
I'm very, very bullish. I am extremely excited at the opportunity for Georgia to be number one. You look across college football right now. If you would have told me after week 6, the rankings would be Georgia, Iowa, Cincinnati, Oklahoma, I would have said, give me whatever you're having, because that sounds like a good time. And here we are. And Georgia's defense is elite. There's no other way around it. We can't go through the Georgia hasn't played anybody. Georgia has an XYZ. They are for real. And I think you'll see it this weekend against Kentucky, because I'll tell you right now, Kentucky is not for real. And they're ranked number 11. And Georgia's a 24.5 point favorite. That right there should tell you all you need to know. On our podcast. Yeah. Oh, I saw one book was 24.5, another was 22.5, around that area. On our podcast, Punt and Pass, Aaron Murray has really been speaking about it all season long. He's like, this season, home field advantage is a real thing because last year, depending on what conference you played in, there were no fans or extreme limited capacity. We overlooked that when we thought Alabama was going to trounce A&M last weekend. Guess what happened? Pretty tough environment to play in. Yeah. Kentucky hadn't played an away game this year. I mean, South Carolina, come on. That's not a knock on South Carolina. They're just not going to bring the heat, especially when you're expecting
a knock on South Carolina. So
that is. But this weekend, 3:30, I mean, Georgia's fans are fired up. Number one team in the nation. Will Levis and that offense, they're not going to know what to do. And the defense, look, Georgia's going to run the ball. Stetson's going to do what he does, and they're going to win by a hefty margin. And basketball season will start in Kentucky on Sunday. I'm fired up. I'm looking forward to it. And again, you can call me biased. That is an unbiased, objective prediction. The same I said against Arkansas, and Georgia wiped the floor with them 37-0.
Yeah. I think what's scary, we talked about this off air, is like, I always bring up that 2011 defense. And I was a year early on this because I said last year, just very boldly, that it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, because that defense is going to be the best defense you've seen in college football since the 2011 Bama team. They led the country in every category. Statistically, it's the best defense of all time. This defense, like I said to you, I don't know if they're going to keep up the same stats through the whole year because it's a very difficult thing to do. We're only halfway through the season. But I'm kind of like, I'm afraid to admit this, especially to anybody that's a Bama fan and knows me, because I'm going to get like my card revoked. This is a deeper defense and arguably a more talented defense than that was. And at times it's scary to think about the mismatches, and they're still not even healthy fully as a team. So like, you brought up Will Levis. You brought up, like Chris Rodriguez. I don't see a lot of lanes opening up for him. And you look at the schedule, you've got one more real test until the end of the season, and that's Georgia Tech.
That made me laugh out loud. Yeah, I think it is important to note that Georgia is not healthy by any stretch of the imagination.
Scary.
12 players currently out or injured, and they're big-time players. I'm going to read them off. Jamari Sawyer, starter. Chris Smith, starter. Kenny McIntosh, starter. Jermaine Burton, where has he been? He starts. Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint, you wish to have him back. JT Daniels, that's a whole story on its own.
We're going to get into that,
Speen, Tate Ratledge, Arian Smith, George Pickens, Jalen Kimber, Dominic Blake. These guys play. And
I love how you just trailed off with Arian Smith and Dominic Blaylock, who are just two absolutely electric athletes.
And Georgia's making it happen. That shows you the depth, but it also just shows you the defense. I mean, right? You score 14 points, you're going to have a pretty good chance to win the football game. I don't think that changes for the rest of the season. And this team buys into it, which I think is pretty great. Kirby always talks about connection. That is extremely evident. Yeah. And then you just see the difference when you get on the field. This defense is massive. They're an NFL defense. There's that whole front seven will go to the NFL and play. It's pretty remarkable.
I mean, Jordan Davis has been one of my favorite players in college for the last 2 years, obviously, and I love seeing him get the credit he finally deserves and become this whole larger-than-life personality. If he would have gone pro, y'all would have been fine, because you have Jalen Carter and you have Devontae Wyatt. Like there's just talent everywhere. It's crazy. And you brought up the thing with the injuries. I've been saying this all season. What's really scary about this team? They're not even close to being healthy. Give me a guy at the top of your head that offense or defense. I would assume hopefully offense. That we haven't heard from all year, but could still make a huge impact, be a breakout player, and just hasn't had the chance to.
Ew. Is it weird to say George Pickens?
You think he's going to be back?
I don't know. I'm hearing some rumblings. Now, this would be way later on in the season, right? This would be based on him passing a number of tests.
Yeah.
And then it would be the training staff and the coaches and his internal advisors saying, you want to try to go win a championship. That would be it, right? Because he's going to have a lot of people telling him, absolutely not. You're absolutely crazy. You have millions of dollars staring you at the face. But if he's saying, hey, I can even up my value even more, and I feel healthy enough to do it, yeah, let's go ahead. And again, JT at this point, can you even rely on him? That's the question that coaches are going to have. Can you rely on him if you do give him the keys back? What if 2 weeks later he's like, I'm hurt again, or this is bothering me and I can't go? Then you're right back to Stetson Bennett. Aaron talked about it on today's podcast at Punt and Pass. He's like, look, Stetson Bennett, if they win, will go down as the greatest quarterback in Georgia history. And we've had pretty good quarterbacks. David Green, Buck Bellew won a championship. Matthew Stafford, Aaron Murray, all-time SEC leading quarterback. Stetson will take the reins as he should. And I said, without a doubt, he will go down as Kirby Smart's favorite player during his tenure at Georgia, because the guy wasn't even getting reps in fall camp. He was the scapegoat for last year. Of course he was. And Kirby, when he needs help, he's like, hey, Stet, go in and take care of business. And Stetson, they kind of have that telepathic thing where it's like, okay, I'll go do it. And it's working out pretty well so far.
Yeah, the kid's got a lot of swagger too for somebody that sounds
like
he's
a quiet
a DUI
confidence
lawyer.
though. Yeah, I mean, it's not I would even be hard pressed to call it swagger.
Right.
It's quiet confidence. Like you see him on the sideline and he just looks like he knows what he's doing. He throws a big lip in. He's ready to go to work. And guys kind of respond to that in that same fashion, which I think is a good sign of leadership. Like, hey guys, I got this. Don't worry about it. Let's go take care of business. People forget. People forget Stetson was the starting quarterback last year in Tuscaloosa, and Georgia was leading at halftime. You can't take that away from him. I know the second half was a debacle, but that right there is pretty significant.
I will say this, and we'll get into the last little rapid fire round here, but you brought that up. I said this as soon as that game ended. Even as somebody that grew up as a Bama fan, Bama won by 17. Fans like to beat their chests on it. You're 3 throws away in that game from Georgia winning by 17. He missed a couple throws. He missed a couple wide open guys. And, like I said, like being objective. And also, I'm a little bit disappointed in you because you listed off all these quarterbacks and Fatone Balta wasn't even mentioned, which is just kind of horseshit. I'm just, call you out for that.
God bless.
I love what you said about Stetson, man. Would you give the reins back to JT?
Depending on what happens this weekend, which I would expect another significant Georgia victory. No. No. And again, you roll Stetson into the cocktail party against Florida and you challenge the defense and you say, we're not going to turn the ball over. We're going to run the ball, hopefully work in some play action. Stetson can move the change with his legs. We're off to the races. I think that's how you go forward again, because if you do throw it back to JT, that's when you bring in some internal locker room kind of what's going on here, guys? Where are we going? What are we trying to do? So Kirby will have a decision to make, but I think based on this weekend's performance, that decision will be a little bit easier for him.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, let's get you out of here on 2-minute drill.
Come on.
So we're just going to do some rapid fire questions. They're all very important. This is the big J journalism part. Okay.
Yeah, need it.
So let's get prepared.
I have a journalism degree, so I take this very seriously.
Okay. Well, I spent 5.5 years at Georgia College getting a liberal studies degree. So we are on the same level.
You're far more qualified than I am.
Without a doubt. I mean, just hours wise. Yeah.
Of course.
All right. First question. Go-to order at Chick-fil-A.
Spicy chicken sandwich, large diet Dr. Pepper, buffalo sauce on the side.
You got to add the pepper jack cheese, man.
Oh, yeah, sometimes on the weekends.
More annoying, that Applebee's song or hearing every year that this Oklahoma defense is different.
Yeah, Oklahoma. No, can't stand it. Don't like it. Pass. Applebee's. I'll go to Applebee's. I don't want to hear about the Oklahoma stuff.
I like you said it like it was a threat. Best bar in Athens.
Well, okay, this is 2-tier. Best bar, it's a pub. It's called the Royal Peasant. It's in 5 Points. It has the best burger in the state of Georgia. It's the lamb burger. I absolutely love it. It's a British-style soccer pub. Shout out to my guys at the Royal Peasant. If you're downtown on Broad Street or in the action, so many good spots to go to. Rooftop of the Georgia Theater. If you want to get after it, it's Bourbon Street, Sandbar, all good.
Bourbon
City Bar, Generals. Look, I was in Auburn this past weekend. Auburn has like 4 restaurants and 3 bars. Got to do better. Go to Athens. It's the best. I
completely agree with that. And they're all just named Sky Bar or Walmart, just down there in Auburn. So, all right, better drunk food in Athens. Now I'm gonna give you a little. I'm gonna date you here because this was my favorite. Little Italy now or Gumby's back in the day.
Dude, Gumby's Pokey Sticks, those things hit different. Everybody knew
Incredible.
that. You're going down Baxter, late night Gumby's order. We're dating ourselves there. Little Italy, if you want to just absolutely roast the top of your mouth off at 2:30 a.m. when you don't think you can feel anything, go give that a shot. You'll be just fine.
If you would have said anything but Gumby's, I would have ended this interview right then. Okay, bucket list concert, go.
Bucket list concert. Dead or alive, or can we just obviously alive? You know what? I'm going to go like new age. I want to see Rufus Du Sol in concert. I'm a huge Rufus Du Sol fan. I don't know if you know them. Really just great music. I love Rufus Du Sol. Listen to him every day. It's awesome. And then I've seen the Stones, done DMB, huge Dave Matthews fan.
Yeah.
I like everything. I really do like everything. I saw Dierks Bentley at 40 Watt in college. Dude, he absolutely killed it. He's one of my favorites too. So, I don't discriminate when it comes to music. I just really want to see Rufus. I want to do that. Check them
I
out.
have to Google who that is now. I feel really old.
You can tweet at me and make fun of me because I don't think it'll be your cup of tea.
Well, first off, you're just judging me based on how I look.
I am.
It's probably accurate, but that's fine. All right, go to tailgate booze.
Depends. Night game, noon game. What are we doing?
So organized. I mean, you tell me. 3:30 this Saturday.
3:30 this Saturday. I think it's going to be great weather. I would not turn. I mean, anything cold beer. Yeah. I love a transfusion. If we're going to do bourbon and Diet Coke, let's full send.
Bourbon and Diet Coke.
Look, I do not discriminate. Anything cold. Really, the only thing I don't drink is gin. I don't like gin.
Yeah, gin's awful.
Wine. I'm not
Anytime
a big
you're talking
white
about
wine
juniper
guy.
berries, I don't know what the hell that is. That's awful.
Yeah.
All right. Last three here. Favorite Larry Munson call of all time?
Well, my dad's. We're going to kick 100,000 miles. That's easy.
That's fair.
And then, so I'll stick with that.
Okay. If you were a character on The Office, who would you be?
If I was a character on The Offense?
Yeah.
On The Office. The Office. Sorry. I would want to say Jim because he's so cool. Creed obviously is one of my favorites. But I'm not that dry. I mean, that's not me for sure. You know what I probably would be? It's Andy, isn't it?
You'd be Andy?
Yeah, I think so. I'm
on
a little
purpose?
Goofy. I think so on purpose. Yeah, that's what
you're wearing all black. You're not even dressed up like an Easter egg. Like he is.
No, I'm not. But I'm about to go do a Macon Touchdown Club speech, and my button down and jacket are outside. I can go put them on for if you want.
All right, I know you're
really
fancy.
Turn into Andy.
Last question here. Give me your dream finish to a season, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Like as somebody that grew up here, the 2012 season for me was great because in beating Auburn, you beat Georgia, and then you beat Notre Dame. You get an extra game now with a playoff. So what is your dream finish to a national championship season for Georgia?
Somehow Notre Dame sneaks their way into the national championship game. The game is in Indianapolis. There's tons of Notre Dame fans there, and we just absolutely demolish them in their own backyard.
Love it.
Keep in mind, the most Georgia thing ever, and it was pointed out to me by my buddy Ryan Skates, who runs the Poor Man's Game Notes. The most Georgia thing ever would be to win their first national championship in 42 years. And the game is in Indianapolis, Indiana. That's pretty damn classic. We're all going to be stuck inside tunnels. It'll be -5 degrees outside. Ugh. Granted, we'll burn it down. There's no doubt about that. You'd love to beat Alabama in the SEC championship game, get them out of the playoff. I wouldn't want to play Cincinnati again since we played Cincinnati in the Peach Bowl last year. Fair. Maybe knock out Iowa or a Big Ten team and then get into the championship. And again, dream would be get Notre Dame in there in Indianapolis, backyard crowd, and just wipe the floor with them. That'd be awesome.
All right. Well, I'll tell you right now, if you guys end up playing Iowa and Notre Dame to win the national championship, I'm going to put an asterisk next to the entire fucking thing. So anyway, I know you got to go. I appreciate the time, Drew. Check out his podcast. You plug it. I don't want to.
Yeah. Punt and Pass podcast. Aaron Murray and I at Punt and Pass. You can get it wherever you listen to podcasts. And then if you're a business listening to this and you want to work with some student athletes for NIL, follow us, iconsource, iconsource.com. Download the iconsource app, totally free for student athletes and brands to sign up. And we help you facilitate endorsement deals the right way. So go check us out.
That's awesome,
we are crushing it right now. Student athletes are loving it. So it's a new age in college sports, and we're leading the way. Iconsource.com. Thank you, Chris.
All right, dude. You have a safe trip to Macon. We'll see you soon.
All right, brother. Take care.